All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the TimingResearch.com crowd forecast news for September 15th, 2025. We are recording this at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and this is episode number 494. My name is David Cosmeter. I'm the creator of TimingResearch.com, and you should be seeing my screen right now. So we're going to talk about what is exciting and important going on in the markets this week. So today's panel is Norman Hallett of thedisciplinedtrader.com, Alaina Nicole of investingbay.com, and Sunny Harris of moneymentor.com. So let's start out talking about the S&P 500. And Sunny, let's start with you. What are you expecting to happen this week?
This week, I expect we're going to
And
go down a little bit more.
um, I'll let you share your screen so you can show us
Okay. I
what the
have a
Sunny
different
bands are
chart than
showing.
I usually have. This is a little something new.
Okay.
I have an indicator on there. This is not the S&P. Let's put the S&P up.
Well, looks like the Atlantic Ocean.
Right? Come on. ESZ 25 we are now. So this is sunny bands on a chart of the daily S&P. And then I've got another indicator on here called my dynamic moving average histogram. That's this thing. And then who's on top that tells me whether gold or purple is on top. And then this new indicator is called boxes in boxes. So you see, we've got candles, and these are showing the daily moves. And then we have a yellow box around 5 candles at a time. So that shows you the weekly, because 4 candles, because there's 4.3 weeks in a month, yeah.
hmm
And then this blue line and this red line box show you the monthly. So we're looking at a chart of daily, weekly, and monthly all at once here, which is pretty cool. And if you squeeze it up, which we can do using this little thing, you can see we have a large rise going on here. We've got a sideways period across here. And then we've got a nice large rise going on this end of the chart. So it's really, really handy to me because it shows me where the congestion is on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. So I think that we've got a down move coming where I think we're going to, well, especially in October. I don't know if it's going to happen so much just yet, but I think October is going to bring us some downside action.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, we're well above the moving averages again.
Yeah, we are.
So
So I'm going to
Sonny,
take,
how do you, what's the guts of the histogram? What is that showing us?
okay, good question. Let me take this boxes, edit studies. This is TradeStation I'm using. So we're going to take boxes and boxes off, and we can see just the sunny bands, which are the green and blue line channels that are on price. And you can see that we are up at the top end of this channel. And the DMA histogram that you see down in here is a measure of the difference between this gold line and this purple line.
Hmm.
So the gold and purple lines are my dynamic moving average. And the dynamic moving average recalculates its own inputs with every tick of the market. So that's why I call it dynamic, because it's constantly renewing its input values. So instead of 9 and 18, like you'll see on most default inputs for moving averages, this thing recalculates with every tick.
So when we see currently, we're seeing kind of a depression in that histogram as it comes down. Does that mean that the moving averages are coming together, but
Yep,
still, in this case, the shorter moving average is still above the longer moving average?
just exactly.
Okay,
That's because you have a degree in math too.
that's correct.
Yeah, so you know.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it's saying. And you see the gold's getting a little bit higher here, saying we could go higher. And I do think we could still go higher. We're up at where are we right now? 45,883 on the Dow. So I think we could go on up to 46 or 47, but I do think that we're going to have a bit of a retracement, which some people know as crashes. I think we're
Mhm.
going to experience some downside action.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Alaina, what are you thinking for the next week or so?
Yeah, I totally agree. We've got this week.
Do you want to share your screen too?
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Oh yeah. You should be able to now.
let me get my big purple chart up. But no, I totally agree with her downside sentiment. I think we've been running extremely hot. We have a ton of headline risk this week between, let me get this up for you guys. But between the Fed, the great projections, as well as quad witching, I think it's just a week. And plus, it's like the end of the quarter, So I definitely am expecting to see at least a little risk off leading into the Fed, if not also after, just some profit taking. But again, the market may surprise us, let's see, let me go to my daily on the ES.
You know that old adage, buy the rumor, sell the news?
Yeah,
I
yeah. And
think I think that's what's going to happen with the Fed announcement.
I totally agree. And I really do think we've found a top, at least for a little while. But we do, I mean, we keep pushing higher, but I'm thinking once we actually get that announcement, um, we'll see like how the market's really feeling. Because right now we're
Hmm.
just on like an AI high.
Yeah,
Let
I
me get
agree with that.
labels off of here. But yeah, and even like just volatility wise, like I think like VIX it's been based in for a while. On these lower frames, it was kind of trying to lift up some, you see. So I think we might see some pullback for sure. That's what I'm counting on.
All right. Sounds good. And Norman, do you
Well,
have a sim?
I'll share the screen and just show a little bit more of a simpler look at it. The thing is that, and my colleagues will, I'm sure, agree that the longer term chart I'm a day trader, and the longer term chart that you look at, the more accurate pretty much any system is, because the longer each candle is time frame, the less wiggle you have, or more, there's more flexibility allowed. But this is similar to what Sonny and I were discussing. This is the 34 EMA and the 8 EMA. I like the 8 EMA as a golden mean, or average, golden average, and generally, I look at these when you can't rely on this quite as much when I'm about to say, in the shorter term charts. Once you get to the 2s and the 5 minute charts, you can get a lot of moving back and forth. But the crosses here are pretty significant. You can see this, ever since May. The 34, I look at, that's a Fibonacci number. I look at it as kind of a backstop, and I look for squeezes very similar to what we saw in Sonny's chart, where the moving averages come together, and then when they break to the same side, sometimes you get a nice little run, of which Sonny also mentioned in the short term could happen. But this is, I just want to take a little bit more of a fundamental standpoint. I mean, Wednesday we have the announcement. It's either going to be 25%, 0.25 or 0.50, as far as a quarter or a half percent
Which
drop.
do
And I
you
think
think
that,
it'll be, Norm? Do you think it's going to be 0.25 or 5?
well, that's a good question, because I thought, I thought if, you know, if he wants to keep his job, he'd probably go with the 5-0.
Yeah.
But I think that would also have Trump say, "Hey, you see how you should have done this a long time ago." I don't think he can win.
Either
But
way.
if I would say that 75% of my mind says a quarter of a percent, and that other 20-25% of 50, that would be a big surprise, and of course the market would respond as such. But
Right.
that's kind of where I'm getting to here. If it is a quarter of a percent, um, I think we should be looking to trade this, from the short side,
Yeah.
from a day trading standpoint. Then if it's a 50% or half percent, 0.50, I would look to be trading it from the long side on corrective action, of course, after the initial reaction. Um, it's funny about it's funny about these the concept of interest rates and what it means. I mean, the worse the economy looks, the more likely you are to drop interest rates, and that's good for the market. It means better financing, more expansion, so on and so forth, easier money. But it also is, but you can't forget that the reason that is happening is that the economy is weak. And so, which one do you play? And I think that my issue here, I see issues here with much more of an upside after whatever reaction is going to happen. And I think it's because my feeling is because there's just so much confusion still with the tariffs, still with some of the things going on that you don't expect, like emptying out the Hyundai facility here and losing a bunch of jobs
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just so much confusion. I am bending toward that stagflation thing happening, which is why I'm focusing my attention on the gold and silver, which is what we were talking about, Sonny, before we got on the air.
Right.
So I see, I'll be playing this from the long side. If we have a 0.5% and from the short side on a day basis, and of course, always going with the trend. I think, they say the trend is your friend. I think you just mentioned that. The idea is that there's no better environment to support that statement than I think the ones that are upcoming. So I think people just need to do the right thing and keep all the edges on their side.
Yeah. The 23% Fibonacci retracements down at about on the ES is down at 62.88, and we're currently at 66.75. So we could have, what is that, 400-point drop on the ES?
Ah, yeah.
And I think that's quite a possibility. I don't like it, but I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Do you all ever look at these markets, Kalshi and Poly market?
What are the symbols?
Oh no, they're like futures marketplace, but
No.
Yeah, I look
for
at Play Market sometimes.
oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just pulled this up. Um, so it's basically real money betting on,
Which way it's going.
live events. So yeah, it's
Interesting.
so 90% on Poly market for a 25-point decrease um, for this
How do
meeting.
those things turn out?
It's pretty accurate on a wide range of events. So um it's interesting to look at. Um,
Do you have the figure on aliens? The president announcing aliens have landed.
um, I think one of them does actually have
Yeah, I know they do.
this. Wait, is that polymer? There's a ton of stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's even sports. Kalshi has sports. Um,
No, I like that New York election.
yeah.
That looked pretty good.
Um, but yeah, economic events, you know, elections, all this stuff. So yeah,
Interesting.
it's an interesting and then um oh,
How she?
predictit.org is another one that's just focused on elections. Um, but yeah. So anyway, it's a good way to get sort of a more impartial prediction of future events.
Interesting.
Um,
Well,
all right,
since the
so
house has the edge, does that not mean that the opposite could happen?
as far as the
Poly market stuff?
yeah, I mean they're not perfect, but um, it's all real money, you know, thousands of different people all over the
Hmm.
world betting on outcomes. So
If you watch my work at all, you know I talk about attractors, which are
yeah,
support and resistance, trend lines, moving averages, things that tend to revert to the mean. This chart you have up, David, has an attractor at, when is that? Mid-February of last year, not this year. There's an attractor right there that we could go down to. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
Left, go to the left. Right there. That's pretty deep run if we go to that.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be a big correction. Oh, there's something wrong with my charts and I'm missing something. But all right, so
Alaina, where are you coming from in all of this? I know you do some excellent technical work. What's
Thank
your
you.
thinking?
So I think we've just been ripping, like we've been above the 50 on the daily forever. And I just feel like anytime we run so hot that it's okay to cool off a little bit. And I kind of start to get a little skeptical, honestly, once when we're just super, super green, especially with so many different like macro catalysts going on. But I'm not complaining, like my long terms are happy, but like my inner my inner sniper is like, where are the sellers? Like they just haven't been in. But I have seen like I think it's literally just like a rotation. I think tech, it's like I said earlier, with tech, because we've got like if you look at the equal weight index, if you look at like even the Dow, like we've had some rougher days over there. So I just think it's super concentrated in a tech right now. And
Yeah.
also, I would add, the US and China just restarted their trade talks, so we don't know what that's going to look like, but that has some big implications as well for the entire market.
Yes, it does.
Mostly in the tech area, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they just accused who is it with antitrust?
Oh, someone else?
Yeah, they just accused Nvidia, I think, with antitrust. So they're going to be fighting that.
Yeah, there's like a lot with them, honestly. Even like the TSM and all that, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that unfolds. But there have been some really beautiful moves in the market. Like if you're day trading, even if you're long term, like we've just seen some insane runs.
Yeah.
Has anybody
all
heard
right, so
anything about, I mean, I'm always concerned when I see, the India and China and North Korea and, all forming a new pack, seeing that the Western pack is kind of loose and weakening with all of the tariff manipulations and so on, that we seem to be unwinding, the economic strength that the West has built. Uh, it kind of, that's an overlying concern that I have, which brings me to the US dollar and oil. Do you remember? I haven't heard anything about it lately, about not having, right now you need US dollars to pretty much to buy oil around the world. I think China stopped doing it, but most of the other countries still, you need to convert whatever currency to US dollars before you can buy gold. Is anything happening? Do you guys know anything happening in that realm?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
Because
I
that's,
hear I hear random stuff about it occasionally, uh, like the idea that that's one of the reasons why gold has gone up so much recently is because they're using gold to buy oil, I think, or
yeah.
using gold as a like
Currency backer?
It
well
may
as
be.
like a dollar alternative basically. So they're
Yeah.
acquiring gold as
You
like
know, I walked into a store the other day, actually get a haircut. They wouldn't take cash. I know
Oh,
in Sweden, they don't, they're pretty much there now that they don't take cash.
Yeah. Well,
uh,
Um,
I just saw an announcement today that Trump's going to introduce a new dollar.
mm,
I'm gathering that that will be for a new stripe in the metal part of the dollar bill, or $20 or $100 bill. That stripe's going to collect more data.
oh
well,
really?
that'd be the opposite of what I'm saying if he does that. I mean, everything's going digital,
Yeah.
and that is I think I know that I need to figure out a little bit more specifically what that's going to mean, to the U.S. dollar, because that's really something that's sitting out there that really concerns me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen any commodity. Well, it's been a long time since I've seen a commodity jump or fall 20% in one day, as it did about 3 weeks ago in copper, when he announced the tariffs, went from $5.50 a pound to $4.50 a pound, and I saw it happening in an hourly chart. So I looked back at a half hour, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. It was a drop within a 1 minute candle.
Really?
And so, these lofty places that we're at right now, all I have to say is, people, if you haven't been using your stops, you should start using them,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite an amazing drop for
Yeah, that's a good drop.
Yeah.
one day.
And then there's Oracle that went up 38% in one day.
Mm-hmm. We traded ANET today as well.
Look at that.
Yeah, did I hear correctly that it was? Yeah, it was an earnings miss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's nice that it went up, but what from here? I mean, what do people do? I mentioned this. The copper went down. It's been going nothing but sideways, absorbing that kind of a. Is that what we're expecting here now, Sunny?
Oh, sorry. I think,
That's a hard one to tell. I mean, the Japanese candlestick theory says the windows must be closed. So we close the gaps is what that means.
Hmm.
Alaina, did you have something else you
yeah,
wanted?
I was just gonna say that deal they made with I think it was in Nvidia and OpenAI and somebody else. I can't remember the third company. But like long term, I like Oracle and I see how they've kind of been the buyers have been defending the top of that gap. So I'm curious to see if we feel it now or come back later. But if we see like that market wide downturn, then it could get ugly over here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's
But,
going to close that gap
Yeah.
down
well,
to
but
about.
what's the time frame? It could have closed the gap 2 years from now.
No, I think it's going to close it a lot sooner than that. I'm looking at a daily chart at 256.73, which is where the gap
You want?
closes.
Do you want to show your sunny bands for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that.
RCL.
I'd be able to now.
And is Oracle still involved in the TikTok deal?
I don't
I
know.
feel like it's been on the
Because
back end.
Bezos is the richest guy now,
I
and
thought Larry Ellison was.
oh, is it Ellison and then
Yeah,
Bezos?
he's from Oracle.
I
Yeah.
see, and then Musk, and then you. So the three of you.
Uh, yeah, I think it's going to move down. ORCL, Oracle. And see, we've got this big gap that goes down to 264, and I think that's going to be closed.
So I mean, you got a feeling. That's nice to have a feeling, but
I have
because
feeling.
because you know the rule that these windows have to be closed. But how does somebody how does somebody take advantage of that?
Get out and take your profits.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Take
if
your
they're not in it,
profits.
stay away.
Stay away for now.
All right.
I like to set alerts like on the edges of the gaps. But I think Larry Ellison this week, he was also involved in a deal with or a potential deal with Warner Brother Disney. I know I heard his name this week for something else.
Yeah, they're trying to buy up everything.
Yeah.
So all my TV is going to be reporting the same news.
Yeah, they made like a 30% move as well though after that announced or the rumor was swirling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see about that.
Well, we're staying away from Oracle because of you, Sonny, for now. We're taking our profit. What should people be looking at now?
Let's look back at the ES, which is the thing that I trade all the time. It's still going up. There's no question that that's an up move right there. So I think it's going to continue to go up a little bit longer before it peters out and comes down to about 62.17, which would be a 400 point drop on the S&P. That would be a big one.
Hmm.
But I do think we're going down to at least this level, which is at 63.41. I think we'll see that.
Excellent. And Alaina, we're at a cocktail party. Somebody comes up to you and says, you know this business. What I just inherited $100,000. What should I do with it?
I'm really, I'm really big on like cloud right now. Who else? Like Arista Networks, ANET. That's one of the tickers I mentioned earlier. They've been making some really nice moves. Are we talking like short-term volatility, or are we looking for like long-term?
That's a good
It's like
question.
two different answers. Um, but yeah, I like Micron. Obviously Microsoft, Google. Some of these guys I do feel are just like I said, they're running a little hot. So I'm not necessarily bullish in the immediate future. I think they need to cool off, but I do think we're going to see some nice dip opportunities, like Sunny was saying. And then also like your synopsis. Um, they just took a super drop after their earnings report. So I'm curious to see how that recovery goes. Boeing, that's one of my favorite stocks. We still haven't reclaimed 300. There's more delays now. So if we're talking downside, I think BA could possibly see some more pullback as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how about people who are, we're still at that party.
Who?
What about somebody who wants to play it a little safer from the standpoint of looking at sectors? Should they be
Mhm.
looking at, I mean, I think everybody has to have a foot in the technology area.
Oh, yeah.
But what about services and real estate? Are there any surprise things that people aren't talking about that you believe can be potentially profitable for people in a certain sector, healthcare, whatever?
Oh yeah, I think defensive stocks all day. Anything like, staples, your defense contractors, manufacturing. I feel like a lot of these stocks, especially, I don't know what it is, but I feel like new traders, they just have like an eye for tech stocks. Probably the volatility. But you can make money on any stock as long as, all the things that are, all the boxes are checked as far as like the movement and the instrument you're trading. So yeah, some of these other sectors, as you see some rotation, if we see rotation out of tech, which I'm anticipating, I think those are some good ones for sure.
And
I
of
think
course, if,
you're
if
right
people,
about the defense stocks. I think that what we have to offer to Ukraine and our own supplies running low, I think we're going to have to do some defense
Oh
investing.
yeah, for sure. And like your Lockheed's, Raytheon's, L3,
Mhm.
what is it? NOC. There's a bunch, but yeah, I think those should not be underestimated either, especially
Yeah,
with so many conflicts.
I agree.
you know, because I'm really almost a total commodity guy. Uh, is there a group of funds that people can look at that they can choose these sectors and get some diversification?
I
Oh,
don't know.
just almost any of
I mean,
the
Templeton, is that what they have to look at, that kind of thing?
yeah, Templeton is one of the good ones. But I think that they're going to have to look at what they're containing,
Mhm.
which defense stocks they're using, which they're what they're looking at.
Of course, my group of choice are the mining stocks. Um,
Mhm.
I've never heard as much talk about minerals and other things that are, of course, feed the defensive stocks that you've talked about. Um, but this whole area of metals and platinum is just woke up, was
Give me
up
a symbol,
40% in a
Norm.
week. What's that?
Give me a symbol.
I didn't understand you.
Give me a symbol.
Oh, a symbol? I don't have a symbol for. I mean, PL is a symbol for platinum in the futures market, but I don't have a something from stocks. Let's see if you've got it there.
Yeah, that's going sideways.
It's going sideways now, but look what happened. Um, you had a mass accumulation move from 1,000 to 1,500 literally in a 2 month period,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're absorbing that. And you know what I look for is you see this massive accumulation before this run up. The entire chart that we're looking at is almost a mass accumulation until this, whatever accumulation we're having here, I think will be led by a new movement higher. The one that this current accumulation that started, what is that, August? It started in
Like,
August and it's been moving sideways.
yeah,
This is, I mean, I actually see this market in the $3,000 to $4,000 area within a year or 18 months from now. So I think there's a lot of
really.
potential. Yeah, I mean, do you remember when gold in 1980 when the Hunt brothers were dealing with silver? Um, and gold moved from $200 to $850. That was the high for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Silver moved from $5 to $50, and platinum, when gold was $850, platinum was $1150. Was premium to gold,
Mm-hmm.
and it's come down out of favor in all those years, all those decades, and now we're starting to see some life. So I think I am looking for $5,000 gold.
Me
Uh,
too.
yeah, and I mean we're already at what are we 3,600, 3,700,
37. Yeah.
3,700, and silver is knocking on the door of 50. It's at 42 and change, 43 and change. Um, so I'm looking at 60 to $75 there. Over the next 12 months, I really do think that we are. If my thoughts about this stagflation have, the more worried we are about the economy. And if this job thing doesn't turn around, the more we're going to see, panic in the financial area
Yeah.
and increases in these prices. But I look for these long accumulations, and then what I usually do is take the accumulation horizontal and then flip it vertical, and that's usually a pretty good indication of the capacity of a move. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can see it short term here, where you have your horizontal line. If you
Mm-hmm.
start where that accumulation is to the next, keep going right there. That move, if you flip it north, you can see that it hit that peak right in September.
Yeah.
Uh, and
That's
so,
called the atom theory of the market.
oh, it is?
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
Wells Wilder thing, atom theory.
Geez, I was calling it the Norman theory, but I'm gonna have to change that.
Oh,
And you can see it again in the from August through September. You had that sideways movement. August, keep going. August down on the bottom where it starts. August, you almost had it there. You were there before. No, no, no.
where
Current.
you tell me right or left?
Right, 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 right. Keep going. I'll tell you when to stop. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Right there. A little to the left to that trough right there. From that accumulation that you're looking at, that sideways movement, to me was responsible for what we're seeing right now as far as our, and that's why I think that right here we should see a little bit of exhaustion, sideways movement, another accumulation, another move up.
Yeah,
Uh,
that makes
so,
sense.
it's very, very, you look at a gold chart on the daily chart. Do you have a GC chart there? Yeah, this current accumulation sideways from go to the left back to May. If you look at May on the bottom, keep going on the left another month. Keep going, left, 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 right there. So from right here to almost current till the series of blue candles start. Keep going from here all the way to the right, all the way to the end of the chart, almost right there.
Yeah,
Right before the flu. That horizontal measure, if you take a compass and you put the pin where your arrow is right now, and you put the pencil at the beginning of April and you just spin it up, you still have your compass, right?
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
I got
I've
a
ruined a
kappa.
lot of monitors with that.
I got
And
I got a Fibonacci extension cycle
and
indicator. I got all those things.
and clip that up and swing that up, keep that pin there where your arrow is and swing it up. You'll get to that $4,500, $5,000 range. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's really where my thinking is coming from. I do think that we are going to break higher, in the present environment. Of course, you've got to wait. Again, I trade off 5 minute candle charts.
Yeah,
Uh,
so do I.
and so what I do is that I will, when I see strength like this or expectations like this, I favor the long side. Doesn't mean I won't take a short-term trade if it's a strong signal, but I'll reduce my position sizing. And we should have a whole class. We should have a whole talk on position sizing, because I think that's an element that a lot of traders ignore or don't know anything about. They don't know
Yeah.
that when the getting's good, you should go for it. And because that's what trading is all about. And so the getting is good here, I think, on the north side when you're on the long side. And so you need to wait for your signal in the short-term chart and make it happen. You want to see your short-term average over your long-term average, whatever you're using. Most people, I think, use something like either in your version that you've just explained to me earlier or my version. I'm sure Alaina has a version of her own. But generally, if you stay with the trend like this, I just think there's a lot of potential. So, I'm looking for $5,000 gold, $60, $75 silver, and 3 to 4,000 in platinum. I don't know where platinum's going. It's the thinnest market. It's shown me in the past that it can actually surpass the price of gold. And if those aliens land, I think that's going to be the leader, platinum.
That's interesting.
You know.
Uh, I call these things attractors, where there's a confluence of price. So price goes up here, it hits the yellow dot, it comes back down again. This yellow dot shows me an attractor. I think that's where it's going, back up to that high.
Mm-hmm. You won't get an argument from me. How are these sunny bands different from Bollinger Bands? Somebody asked me that the other day.
Yeah, Bollinger Bands are a simple moving average in the center. I
Mm-hmm.
have my dynamic moving average in the center. And then it has statistical bands on either side, which are uh, standard deviations away from his simple moving average. I have a dynamic moving average, which calculates its own inputs over and over with each tick of the market. And this dynamic moving average then has ATR bands on the upside and downside.
Mm.
So they're very different.
Well, they're pretty right on from what I'm looking
They
at.
are pretty right on. Kind of amazing.
Norman, do you ever try to use your very short-term day trading patterns for longer term, like apply it to, longer term, like the loaded gun pattern?
Well, yeah, I mean, loaded gun is something that I use for just about any chart, and like I said, any trading plan that I've built over the years, it's all the same. The longer term, the longer the chart is, the longer time involved with every candle, the more accurate you're going to be. So uh, that's the first thing in the morning before I start. I look at the daily chart. I call it an undertow. I look at the daily chart, and if it gives me, say, a loaded gun signal one way or the other, that influences my position sizing on my shorter term chart in that direction. And I'll lighten up in an opposite direction. So I always, because the longer term charts influence the shorter term chart. So if you're a day trader, I think it's best that you take a look at the undertow. The 60-minute chart is also a very good indicator of undertow. The daily, the 60, and then whatever you're trading less than that, and Sonny and I like the 5. I think it gives us a little time to react, but still short term. These people that come to me and they trade the 1 minute on the Nasdaq. I tell them, you're just going to get chopped up eventually.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a number of different loaded gun signals here. Um,
So explain the loaded gun to me.
well, if you look, um, well,
Norman, do you want to
let me
share your
share my
screen?
chart. I'll probably best way to do that. Okay, I'll. so here's today's chart. This is the daily, and well, this is the daily in the S&P. This is a loaded gun signal right here. And here's another one here. It depends on the 8-bar exponential moving average. This right here, when you have hesitation, I call this, it's a two-candle shot here. This is the trigger. And when you have hesitation or a series of hesitations, whether it's a doji or a spinner with a small body, followed by a more dramatic movement through the 8 to the opposite side, this is a trigger to go short. Now, I don't expect much from this trigger because I look at the 34 as a barrier. If I were to short this, it would be I would be taking my profit on in more of a scalp basis. So here's another loaded gun trigger where you have a hesitation candle and then your extension candle through the 8. Now this right here is not, because I want to see the hesitation candle on one side and the extension candle in the other. Here's another one here. Here's one that's in the opposite direction that I don't like because I don't like going into the 34. Here's a beauty right here. And it's interesting, and you'll appreciate this. I'm sure both you women will appreciate this. And so will all the men, Dave. This right here is a loaded gun signal. And the beauty of it is you're seeing it against the, any formation that you're looking, you got to look at the environment. I mean, you're looking at a topping action here, potential topping action. The RSI gives you another feed here. You've got equal tops with a descending RSI, which gives you, again, I use for position sizing, not getting into a trade. But here is something that I generally would not take because I don't like challenging the 34. But those that own loaded gun, many take every time they see it. They take their scalp first, and then they always have a runner with it. But you can see how well it does. The problem is that when it does break resistance, in this case, when support, because we're going short, that's when you get your big runs. So I'm not in a lot of the big runs against the 34. But the loaded gun signal here, and it looks like a revolver heading into the floor here. My wife hates the name loaded gun. I probably should have named it something else.
Good. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, not my favorite name. But I also like when I see here's a loaded gun signal crossing the 34 that I don't like. But here's one that's really nice. This is Sonny, this is kind of that squeeze that you have in your indicator, where I like to see the moving averages come together. I call this a squeeze. I mean, you got a cross and a squeeze here. When this happens, that's when you can get a nice pop. So when I deal with, here's another one here. Here's another one. Here's a beautiful one. These are my favorites. You've got the short-term average with the 34 at your back. What a beautiful signal this is. I mean, it's beautiful from the standpoint that it's a high probability to get your scalp. The rest is up to the good Lord, So, I've learned to take low-hanging fruit along with wanting all of what I can get. But that's what loaded gun is all about. And if you look in the shorter term, this would be the 5-minute chart. You'll see it. Let's see if we see any here. Here's one right here. Kind of looks like a tie goes to the runner, but this was one that I would take. Also, I talked about it being in a squeeze, but in a continuation like this, when you see it in the continuation of a trend, this is even a higher probability. Here's another type of an engulfing pattern. I guess I can't really call it. It's engulfing all the but it's more of a loaded gun type of a trigger. Here's another one north to go south, but had trouble with the 34. Here's another one that led to something that I wouldn't have been in, that others were. Here's another one here. So actually, I was alerted to this. He didn't call it, and he used it in a different way, but we were just talking about him, that he passed away, Steve Bigelow. He was big on that kind of formation. I mean, I've recognized, I think we've all known that formation for a long time, but utilizing it in different environments. In other words, here is something that I would have well, right here would be an increase. I would have a stronger position. Why? Because I'm looking at what's happening with descending. I guess we can call it a triple top if you want to lie to yourself. It's more of it's more of a descending trend that seems like lower highs. And here it is in that crossing, a beautiful time to know that you're going to get a scalp. And the scalp that I like to take is where do you take your scalp? It's contingent upon the size of the trigger. That's what I've learned. Right here would be, I would have a greater scalp than I would here, or I would here. In other words, the less power that I'm seeing, the less I'm asking for it. But I'm not afraid of big candles, you know. Anyway,
No.
that's the minimum of it. And I think if somebody looked at this repeat and say, "Hey, he's giving us the whole loaded gun," believe me, you'll get in trouble if you just do what I just said. You need to inspect the environment because any trading plan can work against you if you don't know all of the processes, and I think we all know that. So that's
Mhm.
that's the answer. That's the short answer to your question, David. Unloaded
All
gun.
right. Sounds
That's
good.
why I wrote a
Um,
document. People ask me how to trade my Sunny Bands. And I wrote a little, it's actually 4 pages of meat and 5 pages of disclaimer, but it tells you exactly how I trade Sunny Bands. And it's on moneymentor.com.
Mm.
oh, okay.
But here's this is the 5 minute on the goal today. What strength, you know.
Lovely, doesn't it? Isn't that exciting?
It's a beautiful. Now, what I like to do, and I think that traders don't do enough of this. If you trade the five and you see, if you're looking for, I won't go into this because I need the trigger and so somebody says, well, why do you need it? Because that's the only thing I tested. You can't do anything you haven't tested. So
Mm-hmm.
if I go from the 5 to the 10, maybe I can uncover a trigger. Yes, look,
Yep.
that confusion before the 5 was a bunch of candles. This is exactly the same place, right? This is about 9 o'clock today. Okay. And if you look at 9 o'clock on the 5 that I trade, um, right here, you're looking at a mess. But there's a bunch of candles, and I'm thinking, hey, maybe I can widen my time frame and expose a trigger because I need that trigger. I need parameters, and then and boom, you got it. So and you can go from the 5 to the 2, to 2 to the 3. So you people out there that have an issue with patience,
Huh.
and I can tell you that I had that issue, and so I look for ways to. I like to be in the market when I can. I don't like to say, but I do like to say that not being in the market is a decision. So you've made a
Mhm.
decision by not being in the market many times, especially
Flat is a
recently.
position.
That's the best decision.
Yeah,
Um,
flat's a
but if
position.
you're like me and you like to be in the market and you want to get in a responsible way as many times, think about changing your time frames a little bit. You may be able to expose one of your tested triggers.
Mhm.
Um, I see something in the chart. Is somebody? No,
You
that's
notice how it goes above what I call an attractor. We've got a line on the left. It hits it, it hits it, it hits it, it hits it, and then it goes up.
yes.
So
Yeah,
as we break that attractor, that's a good long signal.
and look at this. Look at this accumulation
Yeah,
with the
that's a tractor.
protractor, and so it really is amazing. Um,
Hmm.
this
All
is
right.
David, this is the time where we talk about what we'd like to leave people with, right? So, Elena, you're the
Yeah.
quiet one. What would you like to
I'm
leave
As,
I'm
people
just
with?
like listening. I'm sorry. I love this stuff.
Yeah, maybe maybe your
yeah.
friends.
Elena, did you have anything else you'd like to share, or um,
Honestly, I think I'm with
as far
everyone
as
else with the Fed. I'm just waiting
yeah.
on Powell to come out and tell us what's
It's
going on.
everybody's
Okay.
waiting on that same number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Do you want to tell us a little more about your site then, and
Yeah.
your book that you recently published?
Yeah, so I heard Norman earlier talking about psychology. That is my wheelhouse. I'm really big on I am a day trader, but my passion honestly is the brain and how the brain works and how people get triggered with their money. And so yeah, I wrote a book called Trade Brain. And it basically breaks down what's going on in your head when you're exposed to the market, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think the only way to really be profitable is to get that emotional control. So that's what I try to teach more than
Mhm.
anything else. Yeah, that's all I
Fear
got.
of missing out's a big problem.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Trying to show your book, but my computer's not cooperating. But this is
I
your
got it.
site. And all right, so Sunny, um,
I have moneymentor.com, very good. And one of the key contributors to my site and to my latest two books is Sam Tennis, who passed a month ago. And I miss him terribly. He was my best friend and my programmer and a absolutely brilliant mind. I did a memorial for him last week. And other than that, my books are still available. Used to be his books. Also, he wrote two of them with me. And I do consulting. I do a live trading room every morning at 7:30 Pacific time. And we go through the live markets and what I see and what I'm trading. They watch me trade live.
all right, sounds good. And Norman, what do you,
David, would you put the discipline or my email address in there, admin@thedisciplinetrader.com? Because you can write me. I'm having a master class tomorrow. It's it's very expensive, $27. It kind of that kind of keeps out the tire. I only want to deal with people that really want to win. I'm doing something tomorrow on limit orders and the magic of limit orders, especially for prop traders.
Hmm.
So if you write me at admin@thedisciplinetrader.com, I will I will send you an invitation to it's tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It'll be all about using limits, which I think is kind of the secret thing that, why cut off a good thing? Why should I use limits? There's plenty of reasons to do that, especially when you're prop trading. And I've got
Yeah,
actually my book comes out next month called "Their Money, Your Profit: Cashing In on the Prop Trading Revolution." It comes out next month, so you may want to watch for that.
very nice, Norman.
Norman, is
uh,
it 4 Eastern?
What's that?
Is it at 4 Eastern tomorrow?
Yes, 4 Eastern. Yes.
Okay, I have a flight to Seattle, but I'm gonna try to catch it.
Well, I can send you the recording. That's not a
Okay.
problem.
all right.
You're a special case.
Oh.
Well, make a flight to San Diego and let me know. We'll have
Yeah,
coffee or something.
I would love to.
All right. All right.
Beautiful place.
Sounds good. So, all right. So just a reminder, everyone be sure to subscribe to Time and Research on YouTube and Substack and your favorite podcast app. Also, if you come to Time and Research, uh, the archive for today will be at the top of the page as soon as I can get it posted. Also, all the past shows and archives from the previous 11 years of events and shows are permanently available for you to review at any time. And just want to thank my guests again for today. So
Thank
Norman
you,
Hallett,
David.
thank you, Sonny. Yeah, Norman Hallett of thedisciplinetrader.com, Alaina Nicole of investingbay.com, Sonny Harris of moneymentor.com. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
David.
everybody.